Welcome to Rama Drishti, verse 10. Hopefully, you all have the Sanskrit verse as well as the Rama Drishti book. Verse 10 is a continuation. It speaks about Karma Yoga a little more in depth. Our goal should be, do I see it directly? Yeah. So, because it is in continuation, we'll quickly go over what we've done in verses 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Rama is telling Lakshmana, you must turn within. For that, you should be done with your attachment to this world, including the body that you have been addressing as I. If this attachment is overwhelmingly strong, you will find it very hard to turn within and take the stand of the witness. Yeah, so you should be done with your varnashrama. Means you should be done with running around in the world, running around for this body, and recognizing there has to be something more. If that is done, then only can that turning in lead you to the inner guru. And only when you locate the inner guru can direct seeing begin. Without that, direct seeing cannot even begin. Now, once you have turned in and you look out from that vantage point, you see that the body is also an arising. And this body arising is the cause for the idea in the mind that I am the doer and I am the experiencer. And doer and experiencer of what? Of this world. So all the arisings of perception, sensation, thoughts and feelings become the world, and the body arising becomes I. Yeah, and then there is this constant struggle, I versus the world, I versus the world. And in that, dharma happens, adharma happens. You keep reacting to all your dharma and adharma. All the reactions sow seeds. These are nothing but impressions of attachments, and in time they sprout. Thus, this wheel of action continues. We also learned how to get out of this wheel of action, which goes clockwise. You have to turn it anti-clockwise. Again, there is no real direction. I'm just saying it symbolically. Hopefully, that is clear. What does it mean the other way around? I see in my Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana that the sense of I am arises from the darkness of nothingness. There were no arisings there, and suddenly that I arose. It knows in deep sleep there is nothing, there is nothing, there is nothing. It shudders, it shakes, it doesn't like that nothing. Oh, that means I am nobody. If I came from nobody, I am nobody. I came from nothing. I'm made of nothing. It shudders. Now it wants to distract itself from this fear. So it projects a dream. The content of the dream is not important. The dream becomes its crutch. It again gets into the idea of a dream person, personhood in the dream itself, doership in that dream world, experiencership in that dream world. And that itself gets extended to the waking. The subtle thought gets extended and becomes the gross manifestation in the waking. What have we done? We have turned that wheel of action anti-clockwise to see, oh, there is no action happening. There is only an idea, an illusion, an imagination of a person, an illusion that the person is doing, an imagination that the person is experiencing. That is the truth. This becomes evident. The wheel of action now starts getting erased. Now you can go deeper and you can see, oh, what was the cause of this whole wheel of action? Why did I take such a long time to realize the truth? Oh, it is only ignorance. And then we did the 5 sub levels of ignorance. Yes. Do you see that? Are you clear? What are the 5 levels? Do you see that you don't see one arising at a time? You so different arisings together. You create a story, you believe the story is real. You are ignoring the background of the now on which that arising is emerging from and dissolving back into. Do you see that you are ignoring that arising was also a subtle thought first before it became a gross projection? Projection is inside out. Do you see that even perception is inside out, and I have been ignoring that first at the subtle thought level I played that, and then it manifested as a gross manifestation. Are you seeing that you are ignoring that you are nobody, you don't like this standing alone, just being the witness? These are the chief causes of ignorance. If these are very clear, then you will not have a doubt, oh, this person just arose. This is again because of some ignorance. See, the person is saying that I did this. It's trying to take credit for that. The person is saying, see, you don't give me credit, I experience pain. So there is experiencership. Because of this whole reaction to the situation, the impressions of attachment are getting buried deep. They're getting embedded in the consciousness. And again, this similar fight is going to come up. This similar argument is going to come up in the future. Oh, see, I can see. This is how the wheel of action works. This is how it works. Oh, everything that belongs to the waking world and the waker is born of action. And that action is born of my dislike for the truth that I am nobody. I am nothing. And that is why I created this whole drama. If personhood itself is lies, then anything the person will sit down to do will be lies, will be ignorance. Correct? So karma yoga cannot remove ignorance. Action cannot remove ignorance. Pranayama, mantra, channelizing the vital energy in the spine, any action that the person sits down to do, breath, anything with the body, anything that he considers as me, that cannot take him out of that illusion, because that itself is the illusion. Yeah? You cannot tell a person, stop being a person, be Turiya. No, the person is limited to the waking state. So that which is limited to the waking state cannot go beyond the waking. Turiya is the witness. The witnessing awareness space in which this waking state has arisen a few hours ago. It will play for a few hours, which is also time belonging to the waking state, and then it disappears. Do you see? The waking time also disappears with it. The same waking time is not there in the dream. And it is not there in the deep sleep. All of it is ignorance. Time, cause, effect, personhood, world, name, fame, even the spiritual game concerned with the person. All of it is an illusion. All of it is simply a lack of knowledge if you are a beginner. But if you are already an expert, a master in the field, have been here a long time, then you are committing a crime. Yeah, it's called pragya aparad. You're committing a crime. And we will see what is this crime in today's verse, in verse 10. Clear? So this was a quick recap of what we've done in 7, 8, 9. We have to get over the lack of knowledge only with knowledge. So that knowledge comes from me seeing something directly. And for direct seeing, I have to be at the correct position. Are you at the correct position? Have you taken the correct stand? Become the witness of the person. Now stay there. Only from here can the lack of knowledge be eradicated by direct seeing of knowledge. So now we will begin with verse 10. First, I will do it in Sanskrit and we'll talk about the translation. And then finally, we will move on to the direct seeing of verse 10. Na jnana hanir, na cha raga sankshaya, bhavet tata karma, sadosham udbhavet. Tata puna samsritir apya varita. Tasmad buddho jnana vicharavan bhavet. So the direct translation of this is, neither does it eliminate lack of knowledge, nor does it destroy raga. Raga also means it doesn't destroy dvesha. What is this it? Karma yoga. Yeah. Or ajnana. Here ajnana specifically has been described as karma yoga. Anything belonging to the waking cannot go to turiya. That is the meaning. Yeah. Karma yoga cannot eliminate the lack of knowledge, nor does it destroy raga or even dvesha. Ironically, evil karmas are born of it. Yeah. Sadosham udbhavet. Evil karmas are born out of whatever happens in the waking. Understand this, that the waking state is equal to the waker. They are not separate. You cannot separate out the waker from the waking state. Have you ever, in your direct experience, experienced the waking state devoid of the waker? No, it is not a possibility. Waker itself is equal to the waking state. Which means what? Which means any action of this waker is born of either raga or dvesha. How? Those impressions, remember, that the wheel of action had buried, they come up and they propel this waker to do or not do. Those impressions come up and they kindle the notion in the waker, I am experiencing it or I am not experiencing it. Both of this is raga dvesha. These are coming out of those impressions. Clear? Now, if you hold on to this, whatever has been projected in front of you, if you hold on to it, you react to it. Even if you say, no, I am doing good, it is an evil karma. Who are you to do good? And who are you to think that you are doing good? Do you see that little ego over there? Is that very clear? Wherever that I-ness comes up, I am doing good, it is evil. People find it very hard to digest how I am doing this action only for myself. I am not even involving another person or anybody in the world. This action is purely for me to feel happy. How is it evil? It is evil because you are committing pragyaparad. What is pragyaparad? The crime of awareness. You have come to Advaita level 3. That means you know you are the witness of the person. You are not the person. Pretending to still continue to be the person is the crime, is the aparad. Earlier, I was naive, I was ignorant, I didn't know. I assumed I am this person. Okay, that can be excused. Yeah, that can be excused. But now I know. And I still pretend. If I continue pretending, that is pragya aparad, the crime of awareness. Yeah. You are committing a crime against your true nature of reality. You are ignoring that you are that beautiful field of empty, alive nothingness, conscious totality. You are ignoring that and you are assuming to be this finite illusion. And you're doing it knowingly. That is why it is evil. Sadosham. With dosha means it is with a fault. And the fault here is evil. It is an evil karma basically. You are doing wrong against yourself. Is that clear? The translation of Sadosham. Third line is Tada Punaha Sansritirapya Varita. This makes that samsara cycle, the vicious cycle of action. Yeah? This makes it unavoidable. You get caught in it and you're not able to get out. Yeah? You get trapped in that. And you know you are trapped. That is the evil part of it. Now you want to be trapped. Yeah? So the karma is worse than when you were truly ignorant. Yeah? It's worse than when you were truly ignorant. So you get willingly, voluntarily caught in the vicious cycle of the samsara. That's why what do wise people do? The Buddho, tasmad Buddho jnana vicharavan bhavet. That is why the wise people must embrace self-inquiry moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. Self-inquiry is my translation. Basically, literal translation is the wise one must embrace jnana, knowledge. Yeah, but if you really go deep into it, what is knowledge? It's inquiring moment to moment what is reality and what is illusion. And then you weed out the illusion and you just stay with reality as it is. Okay? This is the translation of 10. But simply translation does not cut it. What is important is, have I started that journey of being a Buddho, a Buddha, the wise one? Or am I just still sitting in the audience enjoying the knowledge, the verses, and intellectually just roaming about in the pleasure garden of text and words, and ignoring the work that is involved in actually seeing. Jnana Yoga is all about seeing. Jnana Yoga is not about memorizing verses and saying them bit pat in Sanskrit. Perfect sing-song meter. Yeah, so what? So what? Who's singing? Where are you stuck? Still stuck at this person. Clear? Can I move to the direct seeing now? Yeah. Now we move to the book, Rama Drishti, the black hole of equanimity, verse 10. So in my direct seeing, I have to be able to recognize this verse. Lack of knowledge assumes to be the body. If you notice, there is no I here. The observation field does not have an I. There is no I there. The observation field is devoid of the observer. So, the lack of knowledge of this observation field assumes to be the body. The moment there is that simple arising of asmita or personhood, yeah, there is a jumping in and identification, this is me. This is all happening because of lack of knowledge. Yeah. We are graduating to a level where we learn that there is no I. Yes. So you have to understand that the observation field itself has lack of knowledge, and that itself becomes aware of its own knowledge. Everything is knowledge. There is no world out there, there is no I, there is no you. There is simply knowledge of all of this. Lack of knowledge assumes to be the body. Ignorance assumes to possess a mind. Ignorance always says there is the gross physical body in a gross physical world. Inside that gross physical body, there is a subtle body called the mind. It is subtler and it is finite, limited to the border of that body. That is why you say, my mind is different from your mind. Why? Because you think your mind is limited to your body, because you've already said, this is who I am in ignorance, this body. Yeah. So, do I see it? This is how exactly in my direct seeing it is happening. The moment I take the stand of the witness and I see the asmita wave arise, the personhood arise, there is the sensation of the body sitting on the chair, the hand moving like that, the lips moving. The moment there is that recognition of it, there is first the recognition of the gross manifestation. Then is the recognition of the mind. Do you see it clearly? And then those who went deeper into spirituality or religion then started understanding that, oh, there is something like a soul. And then they started thinking, not as kids, later on in life with religious influence, they started thinking, oh, there is a soul inside the mind. Do you remember your journey? Now see it happening. Yeah, you only remember it as a memory thought. Now see it happening. The moment you become aware of that body sitting there on the chair and the pen in hand and the notes going that way. First is the recognition of the gross body. Then is the recognition of the intelligent thought that is propelling you to make those notes. And then finally, if you still have that kind of my soul is separate from your soul, that's where nations assumes to be an individual entity. Now the ignorance capsule is complete. Now there is a full I versus a you. I am ready to fight this world now. Do you get this? This is a full-blown illusion. Now that you have been working on staying as the witness, you will be able to see this in action. The soul part doesn't come in unless you're in an argument with somebody. Yeah? You say, that I am much better than you. I did this. What did you do? That I, you, that itself is that individual entity. Do you see this? In an argument, you will notice it instantly. In other things, it will be very subtle, subtly hidden behind all prim and proper decorum of the person. But it is there. Huh? You must attempt to recognize it. It is there even now. See, I am making better notes than the others. Something, wherever there is an I versus the other. Okay. So, attempt to see it. Your homework for this week. Can I see the moment Asmita arises? Along with it, there is an inner mind. Along with that, there is some inner individuality. And this is all very directly experienced. But I choose to ignore it and I get lost in either doership or experiencership, depending on what that content of that moment is. Yeah? Now don't get caught up. Attempt to see. Can I see these three levels of misidentifications, they are called. The Sanskrit word is tadatma, to become one with it. Yeah. In English, misidentification. So the body, mind, person is the progeny. It's born of these three misidentifications. So what is really happening? Every time this misidentification comes up and I identify with it, I am fueling that impression of personhood. It is going to arise again. Again, I identify with it. I am fueling it. It is going to get deposited and it's going to arise again. This is going to continue. Okay? Unless I start separating myself to that distance that I see, oh, see, the body has arisen and now there is even that idea of a bright mind and then there is that idea of an individuality there. All three are born together, remember this, because you have fueled it in the past and they happen in that sequence. Asmita wave, inside that Asmita wave is the mind wave, inside that mind is the sense of being an individual entity. These misidentifications itself is the body mind person. There is no real body mind person existing out there. It's only a misidentification, an imagination. Compare your waking with the dream. Even if you have a little memory of what was your dream last night, do you recognize that you identify with the dream character very strongly? Maybe in the dream, you were giving somebody your phone number. And properly in the dream, there are 10 digits and the other person is noting down the number, and everything seems so real. When you get out of the dream, come to the waking, you only remember 3 digits. There were 10 digits there. Yeah? Now, waking seems to be blur, and the dream seems to be more real, more solid. See, I gave the full 10-digit number, but now I can only remember that there were 3 digits. From the dream perspective, the waking is the dream. And that whole dream world and the dream state itself is like solid as waking. If so much confusion can happen to me, then what is real? Is that real or is this real? There also misidentification happened with the dream character. I became the dream character. There was a mind that was giving those 10 digits. And I carried the memory out from the dream to the waking of only 3 digits. So that mind is there, it's solid. And that sense of I am separate from you, that is why I am giving you the phone number. Oh, it was there. There was the body, there was the mind, there was that individual entity. That is so similar to this, which is real. Which is real. Both are an illusion, Janaka. Both are an illusion. Both. Do not get attached. Do not get fooled. Yeah? That is the verse ahead. Misidentification begets servility. What is servility? Servant-like attitude. You become a slave. This is my phone. Does it work for me or do I work for it? Ask yourself this question. Do you realize how you become a slave to the phone? Now AI is coming. You see how you will become a slave to AI. Servility. The phone has become my master. The phone decides when I will go to it, pick it up, when I will do things. Such a small little thing, but never occurred. This phone decides how I'm feeling. On the other end of the phone, if there is praise, I feel all pleasant. On the other end of this phone is criticism, I feel unpleasant. On the other end of this phone is a task being assigned. I feel, see, I am the doer, I'm the responsible person. That's why I got this task. On the other end of this phone is a task being taken away and given to somebody else. Oh, the phone has become the boss. Very easy to understand this example. Yeah, you've become servile. Only because of the misidentification that I cannot be without this phone. It is my lifeline. Now we see it in terms of a direct seeing with the waker and the waking state. What happened the moment this personhood wave came up, Asmita came up? If you really look, it is nothing but a thought. There is no person there. There is simply a thought. First, there was a subtle thought of the personhood that manifested as the gross thought, and you experience the heaviness of the body sitting on the chair. Do you recognize this? First, there is a subtle thought, then there is the gross thought. The moment there is the personhood arising, there is the recognition of heaviness, and then suddenly, oh, my elbow is hurting. It's been hurting for 2, 3 days. Blah, 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 blah. There I get stuck in a story. just a minute ago, there was no person, there's complete blank, there was no story. So I got stuck in the story because of misidentification with whatever arising arose. In this example, the arising of personhood. Very clear? Yeah. Now you have to attempt to see this. In your direct seeing, you will attempt to see how am I servile to a thought. A thought arises and then I jump in, I hold on to it, I create the story, I hold on to that story and believe it to be true, and I go on feeding this story. This is servility to thought. Then is servility to feeling. I feel pleasant with the family member or unpleasant with the family member. I don't even try to explore the feeling. I directly jump onto the story created in the past associated with this feeling. Do you see this? And then I hold on to the story, believe it to be true, and now I react to the story. Do you see this? You react to the same story of the past rather than the event that is happening right now. And you say, even in the past you did that. And the person says, but why are you bringing up that? This is completely different. For a moment you come to the now. You recognize it and you push it under the carpet. This is the pragyaparad. You came to the now. The person gave you an opportunity with that one little sentence that why are you bringing up that? That has got nothing to do with this. You woke up and you chose to sleep again. Now you're not sleeping. Now you are pretending. Do you recognize the difference before the waking moment and after the waking moment? Before the waking moment, the reaction probably was also from an impression which could not be stopped. But the moment you woke up and still chose to continue to hold on to that story and argue further, now you are pretending and you know you are pretending. Because once you're awake, you cannot immediately sleep again. Do you realize this? Yeah, you will toss and turn and toss and turn in bed for some time and then you will sleep again. I'm not saying that you will not sleep. You will sleep again. But what makes you sleep again? The pretending to sleep, the closing the eyes. Yes, that makes you go back into sleep again. Yeah. All these truths are right in front of us and we have been ignoring them. This week, your job is to become very clear. Oh, I'm pretending now. Maybe in the first few moments uh, of anger or whatever sadness, that reaction was a product of the impressions. I could not stop it. But the moment there was a recognition of that reaction and a recognition that it is simply bouncing off that sensation. It is caused by this sensation. I am reacting to this sensation. I'm reacting to the memory story associated with this sensation. That is the moment you've woken up. Now quit pretending. This is your opportunity to quit pretending. That's how you prevent pragya aparad. Very clear? Yes. If you don't hold on to that little window of awakening where I can stop the pretense, then I am continuing my servility to that sensation, to the memory thought, to the story, whatever. So each one of us has recognized this. There's not a single person who says that I don't recognize this little window of awakening. Correct? Now is your time to start working on it. Now I gave you a very loud example where you're in an argument with a person to, actually enunciate it in detail. But now your job is to see it happens even without another person. Even when you are just doing inner chit chat, the first inner chit chat happens on its own. It is propelled by an impression. For example, you start singing a song, you don't even realize you're singing a song. For some time, it is going on and you can't even figure out what are the words properly. And then suddenly it becomes evident, oh, I'm singing this song. And I've been singing it for the past, 1, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And then you're like, I don't even like the song. And you stop it. Do you understand this? This has happened with you. Now you understand this came from an impression. The impression that I don't like this song. It is an impression of attachment, of dvesha, which was submerged deep in the consciousness. It kicked that seed, that song started playing. You didn't even realize what is going on. Some humming is going on. And suddenly it became evident, and you're like, I don't like this song. There, another reaction. Another seed is gone, and it's now embedded again. So you understand that something comes up of its own accord and it's got nothing to do with me. This is the flow. The flow brought up an impression. Like that only, the flow can bring up an older argument. The flow can bring up a sensation. The flow can bring up a thought. The flow can bring up a feeling. The flow can bring up the perception of touch, perception of taste, perception of smell, perception of sight. The flow can bring up something which has got nothing to do with you. You did not do anything in this moment. It is an automatic progeny coming because of its Kriya Chakra, the wheel of action. Its job is to act as a trigger so that you react to it. If you react, that reaction, the first reaction, that also you will not be able to stop. That first reaction is also off the flow. That first reaction is subtle, is at a thought level first. It is not at a gross manifestation level. It is at a subtle level. Recognize it there. This is the moment I can create pragya aparad, crime of awareness. This is my moment. Either I slip here and now or I stay. Just stay as the witness, stay as the witness, stay as the witness. If I don't stay as the witness, I jump in, I become servile to that thought or feeling or sensation, perception, whatever it was. And the action born of servility is but evil. Is this very clear? Now, the skill is in identifying what is it that came up from the flow automatically, which has got nothing to do with me. You've already seen I'm not the thinker. The first thought comes up automatically. I'm not the doer. The first whatever movement of action, which is seen as a sensation wave, comes up automatically. The first perception of sight comes up automatically. It's got nothing to do with me. I am simply the knower, not the doer, not the thinker, not the experiencer. The first arising is not in my hands. After I notice the first arising, there can be a reaction at the subtle thought level, not at the gross, at the subtle thought level, which is again the first reaction born of the flow. At that moment, can I become aware and stay, not allow the subtle thought to manifest as a gross manifestation. This is the skill. Work on this skill. Subtle to gross. Can I recognize it at the subtle level? If I'm misrecognizing it, then I'm servile. I'm a servant to that thought, feeling, sensation, perception. And whatever action is born of it, it is going to be evil. Yeah? Evil in what way? I did not maintain my stand of the observation field. I jumped in and pretended to become this person. I misidentified at 3 levels: the body, the mind, and the individual entity level or individual soul. And this happens zoop, zoop, zoop like that. Yeah. I've broken it down so that you get sub-tasks to see how this is happening. Okay. So that is that line in verse 10 in Rama Drishti, direct seeing. Action born of servility is but evil. Evil action is and fails to avert the endless loop of rebirth phenomena. Yeah, so we'll take the first part. Evil action is the endless loop of rebirth phenomena itself. I think some of you have a typo there. And is missing. Evil action is and fails to avert the endless loop of rebirth phenomena. Evil action itself is the endless loop. Once you give in to pretense, you will continue that pretense. Do you see that? How? Now that I have pretended, and the ego says, I am this person that has pretended and brought up the old story. Oh, now I have to hold on to it. I have to justify that the other person was wrong last time also, and I have to justify the person is wrong right now also. So I have to hold on to that story. So the I is taking rebirth again and again and again to prove that you are wrong. You are wrong here also, you were wrong there also, you were wrong here also. It has to constantly take rebirth because the I keeps dying into the now. Keeps dying into the now. Have you noticed? In between an argument, suddenly you're zoned out to the periphery. Then you have to remember the argument, come back and again start arguing. Oh, because I have to prove myself right. Myself? Who's the myself here? Here, this misidentification. Yeah. And you get many opportunities to withdraw, to take that step back. The loop of rebirth is endless. Do you get it? You get many opportunities. You miss the first, okay, it's okay, let it go. At the second, I stop. If required, I apologize. Yeah? Whatever is required, that moment, take that action, cut it out. You're not apologizing for the other person. The other person is an illusion. You're actually apologizing to yourself so that you stop this endless loop. You've seen that hamster on a wheel, no? You get stuck and you just don't know what to do. You're not able to get out of it. Don't you get that feeling when you're stuck in an argument? Recognize these are glimpses of reality. Oh, there is my chance, my opportunity to get out of this. I had that little window. Immediately step out. Sorry. The moment you say sorry, you are off the wheel. You're not saying sorry to the other person. The other person doesn't exist. You're saying sorry to yourself for leaving your magnificent throne and coming and sitting on the streets like a pauper. You left your field of observation. You left that alive emptiness. You left that nothingness. And you chose to become the illusory something. It really requires a big sorry to your own self. It's an evil action. So the first part is clear. Evil action itself is the endless loop of rebirth phenomena. Yeah, the second part, the evil action fails to avert the endless loop of rebirth phenomena. Means what? With an action, I cannot get out of action. Anything the waker does cannot erase the previous action. The only thing you can do is come to the witnessing. Yeah. No action can erase the previous action. Or taking your uh, spouse with whom you had the big argument, taking the spouse out to dinner. Will that erase that argument? No, it's not going to. Yeah, getting a gift, is that going to erase that argument? No, it's an endless loop. It fails to avoid that endless loop. No, no, no. This is evil action begets another evil action. You're only feeding the I, you're only feeding the person. Just get out, go to the witnessing, recognize your true self, and stay there. That is the only resolution. One action in the waking cannot erase the other evil action of the same waking. Both are illusory. Both are illusions. Both belong to the same waking. Is that clear? Now, on the spiritual path, what do? You come to the spiritual path, you say, okay, I will do yoga, pranayama, mantra, japa. So it will take away the tension that happened from the argument. Does it? 2 minutes you distract the mind. Distraction of the mind is not bliss or peace. You see, it comes back. The thought comes back. The feeling comes back. The unpleasantness comes back. Why did it come back? That mantra, that japa, that soft music, whatever you were doing, your yoga, pranayam, your chanting, doing the beads, it should have all taken it away, no? No, it does not. And this is your own experience. It does not take it away. Karma yoga cannot remove ajnana. The yoga of action cannot erase ignorance. You know what it is like? It is like taking an artificial flashlight and saying there is so much darkness outside in the entire neighborhood. With this little flashlight, I am going to brighten up the entire neighborhood in the middle of the night. What is your little flashlight going to brighten the entire neighborhood? Is it possible? No, doesn't work. A small flashlight cannot erase the entire darkness of the neighborhood. A small flashlight cannot erase the darkness of your one house. You have 3-4 bedroom house. It will only erase little bit in this corner of this room. You go to that corner, That corner which was lit 2 minutes ago is dark again. That little flashlight is limited. Do you understand limited now? It cannot light up the entire room, means it cannot eradicate the darkness completely. So that is why your little mantra, your japa, your rosary, your beads, your dancing, whatever you did, singing, chanting, they could not erase the darkness. For 2 minutes, there is just distraction of the mind. In that little corner, there is some light. Mind is only distraction. Distraction of the mind is not equal to jnana, is not wisdom. A lot of people get fooled on the Dvaitam path thinking that that little light, that distraction is wisdom. We all made the same mistake when we were under our religious conditioning or Dvaitam conditioning. Now is the time to acknowledge the truth. Karma Yoga cannot remove ajnana. Hence, what do the insightful do? They seek wisdom, jnana. Yeah. Jnana is the sunlight. It does not just brighten my house or the whole neighborhood, it brightens the entire country, the entire hemisphere. Yes, there is no little corner of darkness remaining. Yes, that is jnana. Don't settle for anything less than that. That is verse 10.